So I want to go to Ty Cobb, former Trump White House lawyer. So Ty, Cook says she is going to challenge us in court. She's not backing down. We haven't yet heard her side of this, right? What Trump says is that, she checked the box on 2 different properties over a period of 2 weeks, claiming both of them as a primary residence. That's mortgage fraud. She oversees mortgages. She shouldn't be in the position. If it were that simple, obviously she shouldn't be in the position. But she says she's going to challenge it. She says that is going to explain this. What do you see happening legally here?
I think that she likely prevails at some point. I think as you presciently highlighted in your opening, the word seems doesn't seem like for cause, which is what that law requires. Trump can't just look at her conduct and be the jury, judge, and executioner. I think that there's more process that's required, and I think cause historically under the law is associated with some sort of malfeasance or corruption in association with that job, not necessarily parking tickets or multiple mortgages.
Okay, just to emphasize, though, as you mentioned, his use of the word seems, it stood out to me as well, because Trump is not somebody, I mean, let's just take when he talks about Jerome Powell, he's a stiff, he's a knucklehead, he's evil or stupid, he's low IQ, okay? When he has something to say about somebody, he says it. So when he comes out about Lisa Cook, he says, we need people that are 100% above board, and it doesn't seem like she was. It's actually unusually careful of him, by him.
I agree with you. I agree with 100%. It's very clearly caveated.
So let me play an exchange Trump had with a reporter about the issue today. He was asked about, essentially, where's the goods? Where's the goods, right? So here's the question.
Is your administration weaponizing government by digging into the mortgage records of officials you don't like?
No, they're public.
Now, Ty, some parts of mortgages are public, how much you pay. A lot of it's public. Whether you click primary residence may not be. In this case, I haven't seen that. But the reporter mentioning people you don't like. This is not the first time that there's been specific details alleged by this administration on mortgages against people who they happen to not like. So you've got Cook, Letitia James, Adam Schiff. Also, they have made allegations specifically on mortgage fraud. What do you think of that? I mean, why do you think that is? Where is it coming from, this specificity on mortgages?
So I think, based on my time as prosecutor, the way you would analyze this is, what is the pattern? The pattern is, it's anybody he doesn't like, anybody who's defied him, and the mortgage vehicle is, it's a little amateurish, I think, but it's sort of what your private investigator might suggest if you really wanted to dig into somebody. So, and it's not hard to get underneath some of those documents, particularly for an experienced investigator. So I think it's readily accessible. It's there, and I'm sure that they've poured over, almost everybody with whom they have a gripe.
Right. And so they've come out with these. I mean, that's why I wanted to point out Adam Schiff, Letitia James, Lisa Cook. What do they all have in common when it comes to Trump? That he's made mortgage fraud allegations. I mean, his firing of Cook, Ty, comes also after the raid on John Bolton's house and office, right, who'd formerly worked as Trump advisor and now obviously is a quite loud critic. And then Trump threatened to reopen the investigation into Chris Christie over a 13-year-old political scandal, right? That's been investigated, case closed. And he did that. He talked about that right after Christie went on ABC with George Stephanopoulos and criticized Trump. So is this basically just all connected and all about going after rivals?
I think this is all about his narcissism and how fundamental it guides everything he does. Any person who defies him is viewed not as a intellectual adversary, but as a vicious opponent. Anything that he can do to wreak vengeance, obviously makes him very happy. Just like expanding his power makes him very happy. I think this is something that Americans need to look at seriously, because this cannot be, what people in the country voted for in terms of honor, virtue, and the rule of law.
And Todd, just before you go, I mean, this has got to be something you think about yourself. You worked with him. You criticize him when you see fit, and you do so graciously and with fact. But this has got to be something you think about, and anybody thinks about now when they come out, isn't it?
I guess so. I mean, I was a federal prosecutor for a long time. I've seen some sort of, real potential for retribution. I'm not, anxious about it. On the other hand, it is disarming and a little stunning that you actually have to stop and think about it. And I think that there are many people who, for good reasons, have decided not to stick their neck out. But I wish, I wish that more of them would.
All right, well, Ty, we appreciate that you do and that you always speak, say how you see it, and I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aaron. Nice to be with you.
All right, you too.